Egypt and Indonesia already had their own history, went back to centuries ago. As I mentioned in the lecture, that 400 years ago, the students from Java and Sumatra went to Egypt for study in Azhar, and you'll find today in the Azhar the Javanese corner where the students sit and study there at that time. Indonesia is a very famous country in Egypt. Of course, as you mentioned, all the Egyptian people still remember April 1955 when President Gamal Abdel Nasser, among the founding fathers of the Asia-Africa Conference. Since that date, Egypt and Indonesia kept their relationship in a special area, that they are very close friends, very close brothers.
Your Excellency Ambassador Yasser Elshemy, welcome to our special interview today. Could you please start by sharing a brief background about yourself, including your diplomatic career experiences, and particularly your tenure as Ambassador of the Republic of Egypt in Indonesia in the last 1 year and a half?
Thank you so much for coming to the Egyptian Embassy. I joined the Foreign Service of Egypt 27 years ago. This is my 5th assignment abroad. My first assignment was in Africa. At that time, I was still a young attaché. I spent 2 years in West Africa, in Sierra Leone. It's a very small country in West Africa. And then I joined, after I finished my assignment there, I joined our embassy in Beijing, China, for 5 years. During this time, I witnessed the Chinese preparation for the Olympics that they hosted on the 2008.
Wow.
And also in the same time, I witnessed the rising China at that time. It was a very impressive time to be in China. I think it helped me a lot in my learning curve to go up. What I learned and see there, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I joined our embassy in New Delhi, India, for 4 years. India is a different school of diplomacy, so of course it's another big boost in your diplomatic career. And then I joined our embassy in Washington D.C. For 4 years. It was very rich in my career also. And then I came here in my beautiful Indonesia as ambassador of Egypt.
MashaAllah. And what are your visions for strengthening the Indonesia and Egypt bilateral partnership in the next few years?
Egypt and Indonesia already had their own history, went back to centuries ago. As I mentioned in the lecture, that 400 years ago, the students from Java and Sumatra went to Egypt for study in Azhar, and you'll find today in the Azhar the Javanese corner where the students sit and study there at that time. Egypt and Indonesia kept their bilateral relations very strong, and we were honored in Egypt to host President Prabowo twice after inauguration as a president of Indonesia.
Yes.
The first one was December 2024, and the last one was April 2025. And during the 2 visits, both presidents, President Fattah Sisi and President Prabowo, discussed and explore how we can push the bilateral relations between the 2 countries to a more stronger and boost the bilateral trade, investment, economic relations, educational relations, military relations, culture. So both presidents explore and discuss the sum of the all bilateral relations, and we are going very well now to start implement what the 2 presidents discussed and agreed upon.
That's really interesting, and especially that Egypt had been really, really influential in Indonesia's effort in defending our sovereignty and partnership, particularly the Asia-Africa Conference back in 1955. This year, we are celebrating its 70th anniversary, and we are forever grateful for this decades-long bilateral relations with Egypt. Could you tell me what Egyptians in general think about Indonesia?
Indonesia is a very famous country in Egypt. Of course, as you mentioned, all the Egyptian people still remember April 1955 when President
Right.
Gamal Abdel Nasser, among the founding fathers of the Asia-Africa Conference, President Ahmad Sukarno, PM Jawaharlal Nehru, President Joseph Tito in Bandung,
Yes.
1955. And then those founding fathers later on 1961, 1962 push the Asia-Africa Conference to a further step, like the
Right.
NAM,
Right. Yes.
non-aligned movement. And I think since that date, Egypt and Indonesia kept their relationship in a special area, that they are very close friends, very close brothers, working together. And now, in nowadays, we are representing the global south. Both
Right.
Egypt and Indonesia now are representing the global south with other countries, of course. And the membership of Indonesia and Egypt to the BRICS and the D8
Yes.
is a symbol of this strong intention and political will that we should work together hand by hand to strengthen the global south and to review again Bandung spirit, to be Bandung 2.0.
So that's great. Now, a more personal question. Can you share your first impressions of Indonesia since assuming office here in Jakarta in February 2024?
Indonesia for me is like a home. I don't feel any homesick here. I'm living and staying with my brothers and sisters, eating almost same food, praying together. I receive by a very warm welcome to any official here in any office in Indonesia. Even received by a warm welcome from the Indonesian people when I travel outside Jakarta. When they know that I'm coming from Egypt, they welcome me very warmly. So how come I forget this and really I'm feeling at home.
Inshallah. And how does your previous experiences in Sierra Leone, in China, in India, and the US inform your approach to strengthening Egypt-Indonesia relations while you're here?
When you travel a lot and you station in different countries with different perspective, you see the what happened in Africa during my time in Sierra Leone, the civil war, and how some countries are exploiting the national wealth of this African country for their own interest and without any care for the African people. In China, how you see that they are building their country by their hands and pushing very hard to rise their country above the problems they are faced before during the years after the Second World War. The Indians investing a lot in the capacity building of their people, in the education, in healthcare, in technology.
Right.
You see by United States, in the other hand, that the mega power and their policies here and there, and they aren't have they say in everything happen in the world. So it's, of course, all of this help you to understand more and learn more how to see where we can start to build or push the relations between Egypt and Indonesia.
And having said that, Mr. Ambassador, how do you assess the current state of diplomatic relations between Egypt and Indonesia, and what initiatives would you propose to further this very, very beautiful partnership?
Of course, the relations between Egypt and Indonesia are excellent by all means in all aspects, but we are trying to push it more to further steps. We will start now with trade and investment. Our sovereign fund, with the collaboration with Dantara, the Indonesian sovereign fund, will start a new investment in Indonesian logistic area in Suez Canal. And this logistic area, where some of the Indonesian facilities will be built there, will allow Indonesia to export to many nearby markets of Egypt, zero tariffs. So this will be a win-win between Egypt and Indonesia. Number two, also we are keen to enhance the educational relations between the two countries. As you know, Egypt is hosting 15,000 students, Indonesian students studying in Al-Azhar, and we are willing to, upon instructions from our president, to help and increase the number of students studying for non-Islamic studies now in Egypt during the coming 5 years. So we are starting from next year to enhance this sector between the two countries. And of course, a lot of sectors is going on, but we will focus now on two sectors now, and we will keep pushing for the others.
And talking about trade and investment, what specific areas of economic cooperation do you see as having the most potential for growth between Egypt and Indonesia, such as joint ventures or?
Upon the instructions of the two presidents during the visit of His Excellency President Prabowo to Egypt, we focused in the beginning on the palm oil and its derivatives, because the derivatives of palm oil, after we install a refinery in Egypt, they can be used in many other industries like pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, petrochemicals. So we will focus on the derivatives of the palm oil in the first. We also have the sector of spare parts of cars, tires, paper, and the petrochemicals, especially the phosphate.
And talking about cultural exchange, how do you think cultural exchange programs can foster greater understanding and cooperation between Egypt and Indonesia? And what initiatives would you suggest to promote these exchanges?
Of course, Egypt and Indonesia shares a lot of cultures, common features, especially related to Islam. And of course, we have a lot of things to do together regarding this issue. And of course, Al-Azhar is playing a very pivotal role here in the teaching of the moderate Islam, and to be a good an excellent reflection of moderate Islam that care for the diversity and acceptance of the others, and rejecting any hard lines ideas about Islam and other religions.
Interesting. And more specific on education and research, are there any plans for collaborative educational and research initiatives between Egyptian and Indonesian institutions, apart from Al-Azhar, but probably to explore the opportunities with other educational institutions in Egypt and Indonesia?
This one of the sectors of course of the pillars of the bilateral trade of bilateral relations between the two countries that we are working on, and during the preparation nowadays for the joint committee by the end of this year, I think we are working now on 2 or 3 MOUs between 3 governmental universities in Egypt, with 3 sisters here in Indonesia. So I hope by the end of this year we will finalize these 3 MOUs, and it will be active, and we'll start exchanging programs and exchanging students.
Interesting. And now let's talk about tourism and travel. How do you see tourism playing a role in strengthening ties between Egypt and Indonesia? And are there any plans to promote tourism exchange between the two countries?
Indeed, we are working on this very strongly. On September 2023, Egypt Air launched its direct flight between Cairo and Jakarta. So, of course, direct flight also help and promote exchange of tourism. Last year, 2024, Indonesia host about 35,000 Egyptian visited Indonesia, especially in Bali as a honeymooners. Bali now is the number one on the Egyptian outside destinations. So and this is why we are thinking in Egypt Air now to launch a new direct flight between Cairo and Bali, beside of course the direct flight to Jakarta. And this يعني negotiation is started I think 1 month ago, but we need more visibility studies regarding the operational and the management and the financial aspects of this idea.
And having said that, interesting to opening the new route between Cairo and Denpasar and Bali. What investment opportunities in Egypt would you like to bring to the attention of Indonesian businesses, and how they can benefit from this partnership with Egyptian?
This is a message that we want to spread it here in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to increase your export to the neighbor markets, big neighbor markets of Egypt, like the EU, Africa, and Arab countries, come and invest in Egypt. We are open to investment in any sector. If you invest in Egypt, you produce your product in Egypt, you can export it zero tariff to EU markets, Africa market, Arab markets. So we are open. Please come.
And last question, Mr. Ambassador. In what programs do you think the Egyptian embassy in Jakarta and the Good News from Indonesia can work together in a long-term basis in the future while you're here?
Of course, more than welcome. I'm ready to collaborate with you in any time, in any field, to and keep the contact open between the embassy and your agency. At any time, feel free to contact me. I'm ready.
Ambassador Elshemy, thank you so much for your time, and it's been a pleasure for us to be here.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much. Thank you.